Hai, kembali lagi kita di Kaki Bola dan bersama saya pada hari ini ialah guest kita, National Captain Hariss Harun dan Farehan. Kita dah berkongsi ataupun kita dah mendengar daripada Hariss mengenai perjalanan beliau, bagaimana beliau mulakan kerjaya bola sepaknya dan highs and lows yang dia lalui.
Betul.
Tapi kita tadi sentuh sedikit mengenai LCS ataupun Lion City Sailors di mana Hariss sedang bermain sekarang ini. Hariss, straight to the point, anda pernah bermain dengan JDT, dengan Johor bersama TMJ sebagai pemiliknya dan sekarang dengan Forest Lee sebagai pemiliknya. Ada persamaan antara mereka dan bagaimana you navigate?
Similarities, they are both passionate. They are really into football. They are watching every game, trainings. Tetapi Forrest is different in the sense that he's not so much involved to the ground. He's put people and structures in place. Obviously, it's not a open secret. It's not a secret that he's a businessman. He's running, his companies and all that. So obviously he has other things to focus on. But he has never neglected the football side lah. He's always involved in the sense that always coming. Whenever he's down, he's motivating the team and all that. Tetapi he put structures and people in place to run the show. Whereas TMJ is different in the sense that he's very involved. He's down on the ground. Even macam Padang ni semua he check. So it's two different leadership styles.
Tapi motif atau goal dia tetap sama lah.
Tetap sama. The project that they are trying to build and it's very similar. So that's why I mentioned earlier is something that appeal to me and something that I feel that I can greatly contribute to.
Okay, Sailors seperti kita tahu last year finalist ke pertandingan akhir of the ACL Elite 2 and kita boleh lihat apabila perlawanan akhir tu diadakan di Bishan Stadium, banyak budget spend. I think they spend close to about $2 million just to set up the grand finale. I mean, I was there. Tapi malangnya tewas. How do you feel about that? Because as a fan, macam ibarat kau pergi kau bapak pengantin, kau set up semua gini, tapi benda tak menjadi, kan?
Rasa kena tear down
Yes. I mean it was amazing. You were there, it was amazing, kan? The atmosphere, the whole. So for me, kan, I mentioned earlier I was a Home United youth player. So Bishan Stadium was the first stadium I played in as a boy. And then after tak tahu berapa tahun to lead my local club out there at Bishan Stadium, I was like, wow, I couldn't recognize the stadium. Okay lah, bukan standard national stadium kita. But to see Bishan Stadium, what it was on that day, on the final, was like simply wow, it was superb. The atmosphere, the fans enjoyed it. I think everybody involved that day in the final enjoyed it. So it goes to show that in Singapore football, if we come together,
we can do it.
We can contribute to the game in our own ways.
Bila lagi yang kita akan ada atmosphere seperti itu. Dan pada for me, I rasa ini ada satu one of the eventful event dalam the history of Singapore football. To show that the club seperti Lion City Sailors berjaya masuk ACL tu, everybody in Asia are talking about we are playing at a small stadium in Bishan, but we make it to be something that we can be proud of.
Make it happen, basically.
And all under a space of maybe less than a month, right?
I think it was less than 2 weeks because if you remember, 2 weeks before that, it was GE.
Yes, general election. So they needed use the field.
So most of our stadiums were all booked for rallies and all this. So there was a short time frame. Time frame. So to actually do that within the short time frame was amazing.
Sebenarnya boleh
Boleh.
kita inginkan
Tapi hopefully that is the first step towards a lot of more things to achieve for Singapore football. And seperti yang kita tahu, setelah itu FAS went into the whole general election.
Betul.
The new election, the new team. Forest Lee is now the president of FAS, and Hariss, you yourself is announced as the vice president of FA. So jadi apa perasaan you memegang dua jawatan sebagai seorang pemain bola sepak, sebagai seorang kapten kebangsaan dan juga sebagai naib presiden FAS?
It's another juggling act. Like you mentioned about dulu time sekolah kan, studies and bola kan. So this is no different. It's a management role. It's a council role with my playing career. So it's no different. But I mean, then again, I'm honored at the same time, surprised, because this is the first time lah kan, player involved in such a role. I don't know about other countries, but at least here in Singapore,
Active player.
active player, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to think about it, but yeah, I told myself, look, this is there's always a first for everything lah. Yeah, so I decided, I agreed on the role, and but of course I sebelum I arrive to that decision, right, I had to see the team, the makeup of the team, and I was convinced lah, sebab we have people who with different backgrounds able to contribute in various aspects of our football. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, earlier we talked about Johor, my time in Johor, and comparing it here with Singapore. I think here in Singapore it's a different way of doing things. There's a lot of layers that we have to manage and go through. So we have to be patient. You cannot expect things to be done instantly. But nevertheless, behind the scene, I think we have the people to actually make the difference in the coming years. And yeah, hopefully we can see the fruits. So, I mean, in football, patience is what you call it? It's a virtue.
Yeah.
Right? You want instant success. You want your team. You bring together a team today. You want success instantly. But in terms of the game itself, in terms of youth development, in terms of facilities, women's football even, this is going to take time. So we got to give ourselves time, 4-5 years. But in the process, in the near term, of course, we have to break down the goals that we want to achieve in order to achieve our bigger target.
Apa yang perkara yang you rasa yang you nak ubah ataupun improve on in the football landscape kat Singapore ni? That's why you join.
Okay, so I mean, in the football landscape kat Singapore ni, there's so many things that we need to change lah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's also why part of the reason that Forrest decided to come forth and put his name in and for the presidency. So with pertaining to myself, my role, I'm more involved with the players. Obviously, I'm still an active player kan, and also the facilities, the infrastructure part. So infrastructure wise, sebab it's a bit for me mind blowing that Singapore, a country like Singapore, known as the first world, known for amazing airport, amazing everything, that if you look at our sport facility, or at least our stadiums, we are still living in the last 20-30 years. This is being honest. So I told I came forth and said, look, I would like to be involved in the facilities part, in the infrastructure part, try to be involved in the conversations and the meetings to see where we can help improve this. Sebab we are in a modern era whereby you have to give the basic environment platform for the players, for the ecosystem to thrive. We have to move on. So I was mentioning Johor earlier about the stadium being amazing, top, but they are still making enhancements and developments year on year. So that is something that we have to look to do here. We have to move along with the times. We have to, not because we want to have a nice dressing room for the sake of having a nice dressing room. For example, kita nak host high level tournaments here, AFC competitions, even the ACL2 last year, ACL2 final, kita we were talking about this earlier, was almost taken away from us sebab kita tak ada stadium yang sesuai for the occasion, but like we mentioned, we were able to make it happen. So that means we can do it. We just need to have a little bit of a nudge lah, push there. Yeah. So I think these conversations, these meetings and all this, there are a lot of layers to it, but I think it's something that needs to happen. And for me, over the years, both for national team dengan Johor, I've played. Alhamdulillah, is my rezeki that I've been able to play in big nice stadium, modern stadium, experience wonderful training centers and all that. So I think this is an area that I can actually help our football to change and thrive.
Hariss bila mula jadi vice president, pasti ramai yang telefon Hariss. Hariss, boleh tak kau tolong aku ni? Hariss, boleh tak kau ubah ni? Hariss, boleh tak ni? So jadi macam mana Hariss nak put a fine line between Hariss as a vice president dan Hariss sebagai pemain bola sepak dan kawan dengan the others two sides. How do you strike a balance?
It's not easy, especially at the beginning lah.
Yeah.
Kan, it's not easy. I think not only for me, I think for my teammates and the people around me pun, diorang pun tengah adapt lah, you know, how to approach me, you know, because I think they also know that, look, there is a certain line that I cannot cross, you know. So for me personally, I dengar lah apa diorang punya issues or concerns are, and if it's within my scope, I try to help them. If it is not, I try to point them in the right directions that me help them. Yeah, but of course, now of course we are getting a lot more involved. In the beginning, when the council was elected, there's a lot of knowing things, you know, like getting to know depth, what is FAS, how it's being run from the inside and all that. But now I think it's a bit more stable. We're trying to change and do things in a different way, so a bit more involvement in that sense lah. But yeah, you're right, a line has to be drawn somewhere. So it's not about just me that adapt, tapi my family and my friends also know that, okay, look, this is a line he can do, this is a line he cannot cross. So it's just all about juggling.
So your team, the new FAS Council team has 5 years, ada 5 tahun dalam penggalan 4 tahun lah dalam penggalan dah. Jadi you rasa dalam 4 tahun ni terlalu singkat atau boleh capai segala vision yang telah di
No, I think 4 years is a short time. It's a short time, but it's not late lah to apa orang kata, plant the seeds. You know, of course the seeds might take 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, however. So especially youth development will take some time. You don't develop a player within 1 year, 2 year, you know, especially the younger generation, you know. So the goal now also, I think, within FA and extended, you know, UTR and all that, it's to provide the quality young players coming through to have a bigger pool for the national team. Because kalau you tengok national team kita, we have a lot more older players. The wrong side of 30 lah orang kata. Yeah, so we want the younger ones to come to create that competition, to take over eventually, new blood. Yeah, so youth development is very, very important. That is something sadly we probably stagnated or neglected in the years before, and then we find ourselves where we are right now. But then again, I think it's always important to be optimistic, to be confident. Of course, football is a results game kan. Fans semua macam alah, diorang this lah, that lah, tak guna lah, kalah dengan ni lah, tu lah. I mean, it's quite normal because fans have their own opinions. They are entitled to this opinion because they care about this football, about our football. And we need to accept the fact. As much as kita dengar macam you feel demotivated lah, pelan, but I think this is something that we need to turn into motivation. But also people need to realize that, look, this is a long game. Yeah, along the way, like I mentioned, we set goals for the bigger target. We need to show results as well. The changes that we make, but fans need to give time as well. I know can be a bit of a cliche lah, sebab semua orang yang datang in front of the camera and say, okay, give time. But it is true, and you can only be judged after 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, you know, for the work they have done the years before. Yeah, so inshallah, what we are doing right now puts us in a good way for the future, and yeah, we'll be in a better place in the years to come.
Satu lagi aspek, I think FAS council member bukan sahaja mengenai players punya calling dan sebagainya, tapi apa yang kita nampak, FAS pun menjaga sekarang ni, because kita nampak dekat Southeast Asia itself, kita nampak very countries menggunakan naturalized players yang masuk through heritage ke, through macam dah main for few years dekat that local league. Tapi kalau untuk Singapore, you sendiri, you dah main bersama few naturalized players dekat Singapore. How do you think, ataupun bagaimana you rasa Singapore dah benefit from this route of naturalized players?
So it's I think previously when kita ada all these naturalized players in the national team, we had the foreign talent scheme. We still do have it today, but they came through that route, and then of course over the years FIFA introduced certain rules like the 5-year rule and all these kind of things. But it's quite ironic kan.
Yeah.
Dulu orang bantai kita cakap, oh Singapore apalah, foreign player lah, adalah tu lah semua. Sekarang you tengok Malaysia,
Indonesia.
Indonesia ni semua, they are all using the same route. Yeah. So but I mean having said that, I think for us, we have identified certain players lah overseas who have heritage, who want to take up Singapore citizenship, but there is a way to go about it. Yeah, so that might take a time, but I think conversations are happening behind the scene lah to try to help push this. But we have to be mindful as well. It cannot be a fact situation whereby sebab seorang ni main England contoh, you know, he should be playing in the national team. No, he has to be of a certain caliber. That he will come in and make this team better. There has to be a situation. Yeah, so there was the situation 80-90% of the time when we had the foreigners, they were identified. Look, this is the position, you know, Mustafi Farudin here, Daniel Bennett here, you know, and all these players. So I think now it's no different. Of course, the rules have gotten stringent because of course FIFA introduced this 5-year rule and whatnot, and but yeah, we have to, of course we have to respect kita punya what you call that, passport rules lah, to obtain the PR and then the citizenship status and all this. We have Kyoga and Song, the recent examples, and I think they are two players that contribute significantly on the pitch. I mean, they are good characters off the pitch as well, but they are contributing, they are giving something that the locals don't give, you know, so they are value adding to the team. So this is what we want as well. So in the case of Perry, for example, you know, he's played in Cardiff, he played at a higher level, and a couple of times he's joined the national team for centralized. So we could see even the players macam familiar dengan dia, macam mana cara dia, his quality and all that. Could see, okay, look, this is somebody who can help us. Yeah, so I think it's identifying is one thing, but we also have to go through the process behind the scenes. There are conversations that we have that taking place.
Tapi you mention mengenai value add, apa yang local players tak ada. Tapi dengan kita menggunakan di skim ataupun kita mengambil player-player naturalized ini masuk dalam Singapore national team, adakah ia akan menghambat ataupun menghalang potensi the local players, especially the younger ones? Pasal tadi you pun kata pasal player development juga.
Yeah, for me is like the best players nak kena main. The best players have to play, whether you're foreigner or you're local player. So for example now we have the 7 foreigner quota. It has come with a bit of stick as well from certain quarters lah kan, macam mana local player tak ada game and all that. Yes, agreed. Maybe for the national team, okay, certain players tak ada minutes and all that, but I think the onus is on the players to look, we have to embrace this challenge. We have to push our levels up. We have to, no doubt, these foreign players maybe a certain level dari South America ke Europe ke apa, you know, but we have to bring our game up to their level. So you train day by day, you know, on their side or against them in the games, you know, you have to bring your level up. And the national team is no different. If you're a young player, you have to be a certain quality to be at the national team. You know, whether it's a foreigner ke local player ke, you got to fight for your spot. This is my philosophy. Of course, I know, I mean, if you look at the EPL right now, there is no foreign quota. If you look at some of the teams, tak ada satu English player pun. Maybe on bench or that, or maybe some macam Arsenal. If you look at Arsenal, okay, they have 2 or 3 guys English. Yeah, in the. If you look at Liverpool, you don't have a English player other than Curtis Jones or what playing in the first 11. So it's all about fighting for your spot. Yeah.
Soalan terakhir, Hariss Harun sebagai seorang ejen rumah, okay? Ada siapa-siapa yang nak beli rumah, jual rumah? Tak ada.
Tadi mungkin orang call sebab FAS.
Pasal FAS.
Tapi ni pasal ejen rumah pula.
Jadi untuk Hariss menjadi seorang ejen rumah, adakah ia adalah satu perancangan untuk Hariss selepas bersara daripada bola sepak, dan juga bagaimana Hariss lihat masa depan rakan-rakan pemain bola sepak itu dalam masa depan, dalam mengatur masa depan mereka. Kerana ramai di antara mereka yang mungkin setelah penghujung bola sepak itu fikir apa yang aku boleh buat. So selain daripada masuk Single Legend lah kan.
Promote
Legend. Jadi adakah Ejen Gumar tu adalah satu perancangan yang Hariss memang ada dalam beberapa tahun yang lalu?
Yeah, of course. I think the thing about I was having this conversation dengan my wife a couple of years ago. So this was bila I balik dari Johor, JDT, and I just signed for LCS. Because like I mentioned, I was in my 30s. You know, what can I contribute to LCS? You know, and I think I can help the club grow and all that. That was on the football side. Tetapi I was having this conversation with my wife. Look, I'm in my 30s. You know, lagi berapa tahun football career has a lifespan lah kan. We have to think about the masa depan, the career after the career, after the football career, you know. So it was just a discussion, and we decided, hey, look, why don't we, you know, try to take our property license? Sebab a lot of my how to say seniors, be it in football ke outside of football, always talk about property. Duit kau jangan buang duit kau invest property, invest, you know, this. So I was kind of intrigued lah, you know, like asal property, asal, you know. So over the years, even in my time in Johor and all that, right, I always try to keep up with the property scene. Not necessarily be an agent. No, I've never studied or tried to be an agent when I was in Johor. You know, it was purely main bola, focus bola. Yeah, but it was with the investing thought, you know. Then you try to. Then when I came back to Singapore, I had chat with my wife. Say, why don't we belajar sama-sama and try to get this license? You know, then we have another perspective, different from football. You know. So I mentioned about challenge, right? So this is a challenge that I took it about myself, and it was eye-opening because it was nothing to do with football. You know, so I think you could have read about the exam, right? How notorious you know is tough and all that. So I had to take a few times to clear my license, and it was, I think, something that was important for me and my wife, as a couple, as partners, to run together as family. Yeah. So right now, yes, I'm still licensed, but she's running the show basically. Yeah, she's doing it because I'm still playing. I'm still actively traveling with the national team, with LCS, you know, Champions League and this and that and all that. But she's very much on the front, running the show and taking all the load. Yeah.
Tapi kalau dari support untuk footballers especially because agent ni ataupun life after football ni a bit susah lah, because it's uncertain, and then players usually from what we selalu nampak jadi coach ataupun jadi apa-apalah in the FAS and so on. Tapi kalau the support for the local players, how important is it for them?
Yeah, for sure. I think support is very important. The players need to take the onus, the initiative as well, to try to upskill. I think it is not obviously. I mean, now as an FAS council member, I can speak this. We can always do more for the player, but the player also must take the steps themselves. You know, so I always selalu have this conversation with my peers of my generation. Look, lepas bola, apa kau nak buat? You know, apa kau punya plan? You know, have you started doing this? Have you started? Some of them have been taking the coaching route. Coaching route is good sebab we want players who have played the game, who have felt the game, what it feels to be in the dressing room, who have experienced the highs and lows, to be coaches as well. Tetapi kalau coaching is not your calling, coaching is not for you, because you go into coaching and feel like, this is not for me, you know. Maybe I'm just doing it for the money. Yeah, I want to coach schools and this. Okay, you're happy, fine. But if you feel like coaching is not for me, what are the other pathways that you have? You know, do you upskill on your own accord? You know, go and take certain certificates. You know, I mean, there are other footballers who are real estate agents as well, because they feel that they can thrive in that industry. Yes, why not? You know, maybe others are financial consultant, which is good for football industry because teaches footballers how to plan for your financial future, you know, to have financial freedom in time to come, and to have trusted figures, people who have played the game, who are financial consultants who are advising you, you know, you have that trust. So like doing, and I know a player, I had a conversation, he told me that, look, I don't want to coach, I want to become a mechanic, which is interesting. So you work backwards. What is the pathway? How do you become a mechanic? How do you set up your own shop? How do you get the license? How do you learn the skill and this kind of thing? So definitely from FA side or from whichever, best pathways that we can provide, you know. But I think for players also, I think you need to go out there and try to make. And I'm glad that, you know, a lot of them, at least in my generation, a few of them have taken the step to come forth and already started to plan for their career, next career.
Okay. I think kita telah mengenali Hariss daripada zaman sebelum bermula bermain bola sepak hingga kepada seorang Vice President FAS. Jadi thank you so much Hariss atas masa anda. Very difficult to get you. Thank you so much for being part of this Kaki Bola punya podcast and sharing your journey. InsyaAllah, we wish you a longer career and continue inspiring the younger generations of footballers.
Baiklah, terima kasih semua kerana sudi bersama kita. Saya dan Farehan very honoured lah dapat duduk bersama Hariss.
Berarti
Dengan Kapten. Apa nama panggil? Capitano.
Capitano.
Okay. Jadi terima kasih Hariss. Kita jumpa lagi di masa hadapan dan nantikan episod seterusnya untuk Kaki Bola bersama Berita Harian. Bye-bye.